Organizations are giving them relief material of feeding items, but that is not replacing their business. We need to replace their business quickly because they can't live in relief all over. Other one will happen as long as this road remains like this. First is the federal government, this is the federal road. I'm sure it doesn't belong to Niger State. So they should attend to it as quickly as possible. So that it doesn't.
There is no resources to attend to anything, Mr. Obi. And yes, people will continue to school well. Because to them, right, it is their means of survival, even though it is also their means of, quick death. Many of you remember this. This is what it looks like when Nigerians are like endangering their lives. I don't know if this is not supposed to even be about poverty. There is foolishness, there is greed, it's like combination of a lot. How many of you remember this video?
That's terrible. How you get it off? Ṣé wọ́n ló wá ní? Ọlọ́run kẹ́kì ló dé o, tí fún ẹ̀ kọ́tà fún ẹ lò. Ọlọ́run, wàhálà dé o, $10.
That was around the Otedola Bridge, I believe, in Lagos last year. I don't know if it's just the greed, the selfish, whatever. And the poorer the people becomes, the more they are involved in all kind of a dangerous adventure that could take their lives just like that. They don't care. Maybe poverty, there's a part of your brain that poverty also kind of blocks the frontal lobe. You doctors, which of our brains send this signal of danger? There is danger or there is danger. Which one? Which part of our brain? Is it the frontal lobe or the poverty blocks that up? Like it just blocks it up for you. You don't see danger. You see money. You see opportunity. Meanwhile, you are swimming in death. And again and again, people have been caught in that kind of a tragedy. And I'm talking about properties destroyed, lives destroyed, born beyond recognition. And most of the time, the victims of this kind of a disaster, they don't even get any real burial because they can't be recognized. They will be born beyond the recognition that they have to give them mass burial in Nigeria. Well, a lot of them would have to do what they have to do to survive. From what I heard, take a look at this young man. This is a crack and kind of like a funny and at the same time criminal, okay? So a young man entered the public transport in Lagos. When he got in, they said, it is 1,500 naira. He said, no problem, let's go. So when he got to what we believe was his bus stop to stop, he suddenly became deaf and dumb. Hang on, let me see if I can get out.
they tell him bring money, no bring. They wait for this moment, wait.
So it was time for him to pay, and then suddenly it just became deaf and dumb. Oh, what? Which one is it? Well, you know the same guy who said no problem about 20 minutes ago. Which one is it? So the conductor was first, the guy was like confused. Then you know it is Lagos. He was like, you want to play me here? Can you believe I told you no? But to some people, they're like, oh, he's a very smart guy and all of that. I don't know how it ended though. I saw the video earlier. I saw the video on online yesterday, and I was like, see, it's a place where to them, right, where dog actually eats dog, okay, kind of, you know. Nigeria is in trouble. It's always been in trouble. It's just that didn't started today, okay. So a report that I saw earlier today, I know some of you probably like unbothered. There's something you should know. Remember when we used to say the debt of Nigeria makes every Nigeria to hold 420,000 naira? Well, I think it's more now. So they came out, I think they came out last night, and they made it to their news set today that the Nigerian debt is now 142.5 trillion naira. You know why that is not true? Because it's more than that, I'll tell you. From that report, they said, between January and September 2024. Meanwhile, this debt update is for September 2024, doesn't include October, November, December, this January. Just September 2024, they said Nigeria debt is 142.5 trillion. And in that report, they said, Tinubu added, they said the debt has gone up by 8-point-something%. Has gone up by 3-point-something%. Because Tinubu has added 8 trillion to the debt. In 2024 alone, Tinubu took more than 34 trillion naira debt. That is why I don't believe the figure. However, we can work with it and say, okay, if we now use the supposed population of Nigeria today, what does that mean? Well, they said that is 700,000 naira. Somehow, it's kind of not much. You know why? I'll tell you something. In 2022, when we did the calculation back then, the debt of Nigeria was 100 and official one too was 100 and I think it was a 109 or 110 trillion. Let's use the round figure now. 110 trillion naira debt in 2022. But the 110 trillion, when the exchange rate of Nigeria was somewhere around officially 450 naira to $1. So if you break it down, it's going to give you somewhere around $108 billion debt. So now that the exchange rate is, okay, hang on, before I get to that. So if you were owing 420,000, so it's practically like your debt was 1,000 and maybe $1,100. Every Nigerian owed $1,100. So today, the debt of Nigeria in dollars is in the is in around $160 billion. Now, if you use the exchange rates today, 1,650 naira to $1. And you multiply that by 160 billion. About the debt of Nigeria, in truest sense of it, is over 200, is nearly 300 trillion naira. And that is the accurate figure. Plus or minus, put it at 280 trillion naira. That's the debt of Nigeria. Using the exchange rates, because it's kind of like skyrocketed it. But when we now break the debt based on the one they have calculated, though, okay, if we use the 142.5 trillion naira debt that they announced, and then they say everybody is now owing 700,000 naira. Do you know that if you divide that by 1,650 naira exchange rate to $1, your debt is actually cheaper? It's like you are now owing maybe $400. It's even up to maybe $500 compared to $1,100 everyone was owing in 2022. That is why you can't believe them. That is why I don't believe the 142.5 trillion they are claiming, because every available data proves otherwise. Using the exchange rate as well, you will get the actual debt of Nigeria, less than 300 trillion naira. That's the debt. The level of inflation you have right now, the devaluation you have suffered, if you put all of this together, the debt of Nigeria in naira is not less than 300 trillion naira. And that means if you have to do the real math here, that means everyone is owing somewhere, something around 1.5 million naira each. That's the closest to real figure of your debt. And if you divide that by Nigeria population, if you use the exchange rate in this regard, in my own opinion, yes, you are still owing around the $1,000. But no be statistics we go chop. So make all of us just a chop propaganda, the lies. But the reality, it will continue to down on us. We can continue to live the fake lies that APC is feeding the people. But in reality, but you go tell us. So this morning, they said that the Nigerian immigration, Nigerian custom, they intercepted 22 trucks of banned drugs, contraband drugs, or contrabands, they use that, which includes the illicit drugs. 22 trucks, and they set them ablaze today. Here is our report.
I reiterate the position of the National Security Advisor when it comes to such illicit, substandard, and contraband pharmaceuticals. He's very, very passionate about it, that such items as well as substances of abuse does not and must not in any way get back to the society, get back to the people because of the harmful nature which already the ACG has mentioned. He wants to get them out, make sure they're destroyed, and get them off the system. So that's the position of the National Security Advisor. He's very, very passionate about these illicit substances. Thank you. So please, what's your full name?
KK, what does it stand for?
Kelechi Kingsley.
Kelechi
Kingsley. Thank you. Thank you.
Kelechi KC. The I don't know how I got that off the chart. Let me see if I can put it back up. Because I had a part where Wahabi, Wole Wole, took us through to, through the Lagos Island and the rest this morning. And I kind of like following him, so that's a few times here that I love following him to see what the mega shitty looks like without propaganda and what have you. Okay. So let me see if I can put that back up. On the other side, shitty man was talking to their pals in Davos earlier today as well, where he was telling them that he prefers partnership than collecting aid from these Western countries. I use that as a little break. Watch.
You've spoken of. There is also a profound sense of opportunity, and I'd like the three of you to do it too.
Well, the word for crisis in the Chinese language is wei des. Wei stands for danger and des for opportunity. Yes, we have challenges, but those challenges are also pregnant with opportunities to re-engineer our society and build back better. The crisis has given us a unique opportunity, a unique window to invest on the people, especially on education, on gender empowerment initiatives, on smart agriculture, and leapfrog our economies into the fourth industrial revolution. I don't believe in aids. I believe in partnership. I would rather carry my poverty with dignity and deal with people and nations and companies on a pedestal of equality, not a master-servant relationship. I don't come with a begging bowl. My continent is the richest in the world. And the trajectory of global growth is based in Africa. And Nigeria will make or mar that transition. So I move in with confidence, with cautious optimism, with hope for a better tomorrow. But most importantly, I believe that the youth of Africa are the drivers of change.
Nuisance, Lele. This is the nonsense they say to themselves and their followers, right? The nonsense that Africa is the richest continent. I would rather work with, with confidence. What confidence do you have that the giant of Africa cannot generate electricity, have a stable electricity in 2025? That alone rubbishes every other thing that you say to yourself. Look at China. China used to be very, very poor too, like very poor. It was very corrupt as well. But the moment they decided to focus on themselves and leave the rest of the world, focus on themselves. Today, you can see where China is in the space of 50 years. This was after Nigeria's independence. So the criminal politicians will continue to give you flowery speeches, appear in international fora, on international forums to talk and talk and talk. But back in their countries, all of their actions and what have you continues. There's no real investment even in their own people. Education is out of reach of the majority. They are breeding poverty rather than actually, raising. They talk about the African youth, Nigerian youth alone. The population of Nigerian youth is like over 100 million, using their own number. How many of those youth have access to government-funded support program, education for real? How many? So how many investments are they making into those youth to prepare them for that future? To actually say, oh, in another so years, we expect, the African youth to be, they are just bridging us, making us available for the rest of the world to use. And that is why in Africa, the rest of the world are looking on how to pluck us, as many of them as possible. When you take a look at the rest of the world again, You take a look at the investment in their own youth, their plan for future. You will see some of these countries with 50 years plan to the future, 40 years plan, 30 years plan. Nigeria doesn't have any plan for the future, and it's supposed to actually be the biggest black nation on earth, with criminal politicians whose only